Hello, Culture Matters podcast. I'm so excited to introduce you to our guest. Before I do that, here's a quote I picked just for this episode. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Henry Ford. Of course, I had to pick this quote for our guest today, dear friend of the Culture Matters podcast, dear friend of my own. I'm lucky. Dan Lier, the one and only author, speaker, leader, mentor, advisor, consultant, right now sales director for one of the leading red light therapy wellness centers, organizations growing in America. But beyond all that and the accolades and the decades of sharing the stage with unbelievable humans and mentoring, countless people, Dan has been a friend for years. And I can say has opened doors just by opening his heart and opening his time to me personally. And this is a long time coming, many years. I was actually re-listening to our first interview, if that's what we'll call it, because I think I've grown quite a bit. 4+ years ago when I went to see Dan speak with Les Brown, and he gave me the opportunity to interview him. And I was listening to that prep for this. I was like, wow, I'm so grateful for you, Dan, for putting up with me then. So thanks for coming on.
Oh, thank you, Jay. My pleasure. I'm very excited about it. And it's great to catch up with you.
So mindset matters too, clearly. How important has that been for you in the last handful of years as you continue to evolve as a business person, as a leader?
Yeah, wow, great question. I think, well, that mindset matters is kind of like my tagline, if you will, because I feel like mindset is 90% of your success as a human being, whether it's business or life. So kind of to catch you up, Jay, for the last 25 years, which I've been doing speaking and training, running my own business, doing keynote talks all over the world, over 30 countries. So I've been busy and really enjoyed it. And then, the first episode I'll talk about as far as mindset matters is 2017. I'm a healthy guy, ex-college athlete, always kept myself healthy. And then I got diagnosed with a very rare, incurable blood disease called amyloidosis. A disease that most doctors have only heard of, and they probably spent a couple minutes with it in med school, but it's not on the drop-down menu, so they never really figure out what it is. And so the stats are that 40% of the people who get that disease die in the first 12 months.
Holy.
So I was struggling for years, and I finally got diagnosed. I went up to the Mayo Clinic because I live out here in Vegas, and I was seeing specialists for 2 years, and they literally they were going to let me die. So I knew that I was going to die. So I went up to the Mayo Clinic on a last ditch effort, and they told me I had amyloidosis. Started chemo right away. So at that point, then it was time for the mindset matters portion, because until that point, I didn't know what was going on. And it was very difficult to fight a battle or to find a destination that you don't know where you're going. So once we find out that, hey, this is the disease, prognosis is not good, but I knew what it was. And so at that point, then it gets down to mental toughness and deciding how you want to approach this situation. So I made a decision that, obviously I was going to do the best I can to beat it. So, I made a decision like I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to start eating well, doing all the things that anybody would think would be the right thing to do when you're taking chemo. Because of course I didn't want to get to the end and hypothetically not make it and say, geez, I wish I would have stopped drinking, So
Wow.
did all of that. But then the most important part was just the part of the day-to-day resolve about how are you showing up in the world. And so I instructed all of my family members, anybody that connected with me, that they are to treat me exactly like they always treat me. I don't need sympathy. I don't want to be approached in a ho-hum manner, like poor Dan. I want to be approached just like I am, because I'm planning on getting better. So because I believe that when you're around that kind of vibe, those vibrations of sympathy and sorry and all that stuff, that wasn't for me. So I started doing my visualization exercises. I started creating these images in my brain that I ran through my mind at night. I actually put them to music and some kind of meditation music. And I laid down an audio track that I would listen to at night, talking about how I was going to get better and what was happening inside of my body and the things I was going to do. And I just started, it's all about belief, Jay. It's all about belief. Belief drives your behavior. So if you believe that you're going to die, then of course you're not going to do the things necessary to keep you alive. So my belief was that I was going to live, and that I was going to do all the things necessary to live. So if I knew that I was going to live, of course, then what kind of attitude would I have, and what would I do every day, and how would I approach things? And so I just approach things like I always do. Just, I like to measure my attitude on a 1 to 10 scale. So I'm walking around, that 8 to 10 frame all the time. And people would never know that I was going through chemotherapy. And so that was like the first mindset matters portion, because I was still doing keynotes during that time. I was flying all over the country doing keynotes. I remember the second chemo treatment that I got, and this is just a depiction of our society and how we like to program people to fail, and you'll appreciate this. So I'm at the oncology place. I was actually at the Mayo Clinic because I was still going up there because they put me in a trial as well. And so the nurse says to me, she goes, and I told her I had a keynote talk the next day. So I was getting my chemo, and then I was flying out from Rochester, Minnesota to Florida to do this keynote talk the next day. And she says to me, she goes, well, this is your second dose of chemotherapy, so you're probably going to feel sick and get sick on this one, but you should be okay by tomorrow. Now that I shook my head, I was like, excuse me? I couldn't believe that she actually said that to me, because to me, that's not what a patient wants to hear. A patient would want to hear something like, okay, Dan, this is number 2. The way you handled number 1 was amazing. So it'll probably be just the same for you. You probably won't notice anything, and you'll be able to kick some butt tomorrow in your keynote. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting how she framed that up and put that in my mind that I was going to be sick. So of course I wasn't, because my belief was stronger than hers. But that was just an indication of when you're in a situation like that, people just treat you different. And so I want to make sure that I was not in that frame where I was being treated differently and feeling sorry for myself. So
do you think that your ability to not only defy the statistics, but to thrive in this business ventures that you're involved in now is more proof of that what you'd been teaching for years is a valuable, like, is there some, I don't know, meaning there?
Well, there is to me. There is to me, because I know that most people, and most is only 1 over half, but most people would not thrive in that situation, right? So my belief system was developed throughout the years with a sports background of fighting through obstacles and handling challenging situations. And, I've been through a lot of things as a young person, a young basketball player, a college athlete, and whatnot. So I feel like, this was just another challenge for me. So that was one step that mindset mattered for me. Another one that comes to my mind right now is that, I had built up my business and doing keynote talks all over the country, all over the world. And then of course the government shut my business down, along with millions of other people, during the COVID situation. So unfortunately, people in my position were only making 10% on their virtual keynote talk. So hypothetically, well, my keynote talk is 15 grand per talk, and I was getting 1,500. So that's a lot. That's a big difference. That's a big difference. And so hustling and scrambling, I was doing free keynotes, virtual, just to keep in front of people and to plant seeds and to do all those things. And then I started going out and consulting, because I needed to drive some revenue, right? So I was literally calling people, and I had a lead that there was a company here in Vegas that was a technology company that was in the health and wellness industry. And what they did specifically is make red light therapy technology for the health and wellness industry, red light therapy beds, red light therapy panels, whatnot. And so being with my background in health, with my situation, I was very interested in that. So I actually came on board with them. I signed a 90-day deal with them, a 90-day contract to just help turn around get their salespeople trained up and get some accountability going. And after the first 3 weeks, before the first month was over, they offered me a full-time position here with an opportunity to get 10% equity. So I said yes. And then I was on my way. So where the mindset matters portion comes into, I had spent 25 years building up my brand
Mm.
in the personal development, speaking and training industry. And all of a sudden I'm just, boom, I'm going somewhere else. And so two things, it's like, I felt almost like there was somebody poking at my ego saying, dude, you're taking a step back here. What are all your peers going to say? Right. Of course, then I quickly realized my peers aren't paying me any money, so it doesn't matter. But that's something that pops through your head as a human being, right? So realizing that I'm on my own path, and my belief system, of course, again, mindset matters. Psychology is 90% of your success. My belief system is rock solid, that I'm always going to be successful if I put in the work. So I just started putting in the work, and as a result, I'm 1 year into this deal, and we are about to blow this thing up and start. We've done a great job. We've got our red light therapy beds in the Aria Spa here in Las Vegas. We got 2 of them in there. We got one in the Vidara Spa, one in the Waldorf Spa, one's going in the Bellagio and the Park MGM, and wow. We've got beds all over the country, and these are life-changing. This is life-changing technology, where the red light therapy is the new hot modality in the wellness industry because it's non-invasive and there's no side effects. So, and what it actually does, cell regeneration. The red lights actually trigger your mitochondria to release ATP, which is the energy source of your cell, which allows your cells to heal and grow and regenerate, do all these amazing things. So I feel great about it. The fact that I can help people, I can help people get better. I can help people live their best life ever, but also I can help small business owners who are in the health and wellness industry expand their business with new customers, get new clients, and develop a new revenue stream. So it's been fun for me.
Dan, there's so many ways I want to go with this. Firstly, this is a time where there's been a lot of conversations, even earlier this morning. Various industries are they're burdening the Federal Reserve, deciding to make money more expensive. I'll put it simply like that.
Right. That's it.
So I feel like you're the perfect person to ask when the external scenario of the world smacks us in the face. Like, what do you tell someone right now outside of, what does someone that's thinking what you were thinking, having that 25-year business and thinking, does this pivot make sense?
Yeah.
What do they need to hear so that they can make a decision more quickly that could potentially put them in a position of success like you are now in, when you were faced with something,
right?
Similar, but you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, you're the perfect person to ask this.
I think it's a kind of a 2-step question, and you can do the very basic out of the gate. You can do like a Ben Franklin situation and put the pros on one side, the cons on the other side, and just do a little, which one's better for me. But the real problem comes in, Jay, is with your mindset, right? Because you can have the piece of paper that's got pros and cons, and it can be loaded with pros, and all of a sudden, but your mindset, like, well, geez, I've been in this my whole life, or my adult career, everybody knows me as this, then geez, everybody's going to think that I wasn't successful. So the second step is really getting rid of the disempowering story that you're starting to create for yourself, right? So there's what happened, and then there's a story, right? So what happened is that the world went through something crazy that never ever happened before, and it forced me to do something that I never thought I would do, which was go outside of my industry and do something different. And the story could be that, oh my gosh, the government did this, and geez, they did that, and they took away my livelihood, and oh, poor me, and I'm depressed, and I'm going to go on unemployment, and all those kind of things, right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
But what happened is that I could tell a big story about the situation and make myself feel bad. But what happened is the government forced me to do something, and I looked at my options, and this was the best one. And it's an opportunity to do something different and create recurring revenue and actually earn and build equity in a business. And what's happened there, Jay, because I didn't tell myself the story, I got to what happened, and because of that, then now more doors are opening, because now I'm in the health and wellness industry. Now I'm meeting people that are in this industry, understanding how it works, the pros, the cons, what's worked in the past, what's hot right now, what's in the health and wellness industry. And then I'm in a process of opening up a wellness center now, because I know the people, I know the distributors, I know where to get the equipment, all those kind of things. So one thing leads to another. If I was still doing what I was doing, I wouldn't be in a situation now where I can open up a new business.
Do you think it was almost inevitable because you didn't die?
Right.
Like maybe we could start there. So
Right.
it does seem like a good match. I just want to maybe be the awkward observer. Like amyloidosis, you said 40% of people done. You're
Done.
I met you years ago at an awesome event, and you from what when I was re-preparing for today, I was like, oh, Dan, you got diagnosed like right before I met you.
Probably. I don't remember when we met, but
This was years ago.
Yeah, I'm
7
confident
years
that
or
when I
6
met
years.
you, I'm
4 years.
confident. Yeah, I'm confident when we met with Les Brown that I was actually doing chemotherapy at that time.
Was that before the Lightspeed event? I can't remember.
That's a good question. I got
Time and
my
space
timelines
starts
are
to
getting
get-
bad.
But I think it was before even at that event that like we first met.
No, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. And like I just want to say that's like the elephant in the room here is that you're alive.
I'm
So
alive.
I got a bunch of questions. Number one is what does someone that's struggling with however you felt that first few weeks, what are you telling them? Because they're not positive right now.
You mean with the sickness or with the
Yeah,
job
it could be anything. Like I lost my arm once. I was like,
Yeah.
I quit for 2 weeks. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
This sucks. I'm not doing this culture shit.
Yeah, it's a good question. And
I needed to hear you. You know what I'm saying? I needed you then. Like, what do you say?
Well, I think it's natural. It's human nature to kind of look outside yourself first and, hey, your accident, your arm's jacked up, I'm done. Here's my situation, out of my control. Obviously, I got this rare disease. I guess it's meant to be. I guess I'm not meant to be here, that you can go and start feeling sorry for yourself. But, I think, at least for me, I didn't even consider that. And for many people, that doesn't last very long. But I think the answer to your question is you've got to make a decision of, are you going to just choose to sit back and let things happen to you? Or are you going to choose to take control of your life and see if you can change whatever situation you're in? And that advice goes in most situations, because anytime you find yourself out of control, oftentimes you have an assumed responsibility for the situation and you're looking outside of yourself. And so the only person that is in control of my mindset is me. And that's the hard part, is that mindset is the most powerful tool that we have. And unfortunately, it's the most complicated tool for most people.
Why do you think that is?
Because they don't realize that they can actually manage it or master it. They believe that they are at the mercy of their self-talk. They believe that that's actually somebody in there.
Oh, that's funny.
They actually believe that that's.
You ever see Men in Black? You ever see the
Yes,
movie?
of course.
That little alien in the head that was like driving the
That's it.
person. I don't know. It just came to my mind.
Yeah.
He was like wearing a suit, whatever.
Yeah, but I see, again, it makes me think back when I was a senior in college, Jay. I played on a great basketball team. When I was a junior, we won the national title. And I was coming back as a senior, and I was going to come out my senior year and see if we could win the title again. And then we had a transfer come in to our college. He was a transfer from UTEP, University of Texas, El Paso, Division I player. And he was more talented than I was, no question about it. And at the Christmas break, he became eligible. And he started taking some of my minutes. And so what happened was, coach knew that I was a hard worker. I was a fundamentally sound player. I didn't make a lot of mistakes, but I wasn't as talented as this guy was. His name was Rod. And so he would put me in, and if I'd make a mistake, boom, I'd come out, and here would come Rod. So I was like, I had a short leash. I made one mistake, boom, I was on the bench. And I was really frustrated about that. And I showed my frustration, and pretty soon he just sat me down and basically told me to shut up. If I ever said anything again, I'll never play again, or, all that kind of stuff. So,
Wow.
but I was patient. I was like, okay, so there's two things. I can quit right now. I had a great year. Last year we won the title, and I could just say, oh, coach doesn't understand me, and just be a dick and quit and all that stuff. But I didn't. I just said, okay, things change. I know things change. So I'm just going to go to practice and work my ass off every day. So I was on the second team, and I was busting my ass and just making starters look bad. And I was just busting my ass, but I was still getting the same treatment from my coach. But as you would know it, because my belief system says that if you work hard, things always work out. We were at an away game that was pretty close to our campus, like 20 minutes away, kind of like a rival town, but they were pretty close. And there was a party afterwards. And Rod, the player that played in front of me, he asked the coach if he could stay and not take the bus home because he wanted to go to some parties. Coach said no, because coach is liable for him. Well, he stayed anyway.
Wow.
So guess what happened? That was he put me back in the starting lineup because coach had to make a disciplinary action. Well, because I had made a decision to work hard and do whatever I could to get back, I was still in shape and I was sharp. So I got back in the lineup. I played well. I didn't play fantastic, but I played well and I contributed. So guess what? Next game I started again. I never relinquished my starting job the whole year, the rest of the year. And we won our second straight national championship as a senior. So that was one of my stories about probably the proudest story that I have about overcoming adversity, besides the one that I'm still alive. But that would have been easy.
Yeah, if you weren't the type of team to do that, you think you would have made it all those years later.
Say that again.
Like if you weren't the type of teenager to show up in that way, then my thought becomes, would you have become the man to survive?
No, I wouldn't. There's no way.
Why? Like, because there's people listening to this that, hey, they're two forks, right? Like,
yeah,
we're going one way or than the other.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it has to do with your environment you were brought up in, and people can't control that, right? You're at the mercy of your parents and how they raise you. And my father was, he was the son of a man who was going through the Depression, so he was very strict and very no nonsense. And I couldn't take a nap. He would never let me take a nap. Like, if you can take a nap, he goes, I got some things for you to do. One of those guys.
That's funny.
You got extra time, I got some extra work for you. So there was no bitching, no complaining, just get your work done and shut up type thing. And so that's how I was raised. And so oftentimes I handled my own business, and if I had issues, I didn't have anybody to talk to about it, and I'd work through it. And probably wasn't the most healthiest thing, but I realized that I could, it was a self-fulfilling prophecy for me that I could handle anything. So I think, it was a gift, and it was a gift in a way,
Why is it helpful, go back to the wellness side?
Yeah.
What's helpful about red light for those that might be interested in, they have who knows what that they're battling right now, that you're talking about mitochondria, like, I know it's about energy, not that I paid attention in school, which I'm not recommending people, but like, what the heck is Dan talking about here? What are the benefits? Who's the customer base? Why is it helpful?
Yep, good question. So right now, red light therapy was basically discovered, if you will, in the 90s by NASA. They sent red lights up to the space station to help with their astronauts. They had, done some research on red light, but of course, they brought it up there, and it was actually good for the plants. But what they found was the red light, that there's astronauts that actually received the red light up in the space station. They had better bone density. They had better circulation, more oxygen in their blood. They had less inflammation. They had no body pain. Their skin was better, high quality skin, smoother, tighter, more radiant. And so that's really the start of red light therapy expanding. And that was 1994. Now we're talking about like 30 years later, right? So prices have come down. And so now it's available to the average consumer. Where you're going to find red light therapy is at wellness centers, luxury spas, and things like that. So, like for instance, I work for a company. I'm the sales director for Body Balance System. The website is bodybalancesystem.com. And our premier product is a red light therapy bed. So if you can imagine, most people would visualize like a tanning bed situation, and that's how most of them are built. But unfortunately, that doesn't work because red lights don't disseminate very far. So red lights, when they travel 2 or 3 or 4 inches, they just disseminate into nothing. So when you're in a red light therapy bed that's made like a tanning bed, the backside of your body is getting a lot of red light. The top side is getting nothing.
Wow.
So unfortunately, many people don't know that. And if you see a bed like that, now you do know. So our bed is like a clamshell, a canopy top that comes from the top and literally lays on your chest, goes up over your face. We have hinges that come down along the side of your body. It's literally built for red light therapy. It's a zero gravity design. And so you get in the bed and you're in there for 15 minutes. And how the science behind it, Jay, without getting very real complicated, the short answer with the science is the red light is able to penetrate your body. Now, in every cell of your body, whether it's your skin, your muscles, or your bones, you have cells. And in those cells is mitochondria. In your muscle cells, there could be hundreds of mitochondria. But those mitochondria, they're responsible for the energy in your cell. And also, anytime there's cancer is derived from malfunctioning mitochondria. So the red light therapy actually cues your mitochondria to release ATP. So first of all, it increases your blood flow, which increases the oxygenation in your blood, which brings more oxygen to your cells. But then it releases ATP, which gives you more energy. But what happens is literally cell regeneration. So you're regenerating good cells and healing bad cells. And so when you're getting into a red light therapy bed, it's actually an internal healing process to where, depending on your situation, you could get in this bed because you've got a bad back and you really have got some back soreness, and your pain could be gone in one treatment. We've had people come in and they've had sciatica that they're taking ibuprofen for years, and they get in the bed and it's gone in one treatment. Now, I'm sure it's not permanent. They probably will have to come back again sometime. But it's magical. It's absolutely magical. So with my background, with my amyloidosis, I'm in that bed probably 4 times a week, 15 minutes, just getting tuned up and healing myself. So, I'm 6'8", by the way, Jay, you know that I'm a tall guy. And so when I meet people,
you get
they're
taller
like, wow.
Since I saw you even? Jeez.
Well, I'm coming in with the joke. So when people say, hey, does red light therapy really work? I was like, well, I don't know. You tell me. When I first got hired with this company, I was 6 feet tall and I just turned 75. So that's my joke, right? So anyway.
Do people put them in their homes?
Oh yeah. So we deliver them all the times in people's homes. Obviously, high level people, executives who are busy, entrepreneurs, athletes, entertainers. I mean, people that want to.
Does it feel good to be in it?
Yeah, it's very relaxing.
What's that like?
It's also ours is the only bed too that's got a frequency vibration, an oxygenation frequency vibration. So it's literally oxygenating your blood while you're laying there. So sometimes, you're getting this nice frequency vibration, and you're laying in a bed, and our bed has red lights in it, and then also has some infrared lights in it. So it's a little bit of heat, not a lot of heat, but a little bit of heat. And so, your body's a little bit warm. And it's just getting exposed to these red lights that are blasting your mitochondria and creating cellular regeneration and healing your body. So it's amazing. It really is.
It makes me think of there's this recent craze of the cold plunge.
Right.
So like, are they like cousins that don't get along? You know what I'm saying? Like, is this like Chick-fil-A and the cows are saying, eat more chicken because they're cows, you know what I'm saying? McDonald's, well, Chick-fil-A.
I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert on the cold plunge or the cryotherapy, but I know the cryotherapy and the cold plunge is supposed to be really good for your heart, I believe. So I don't know all the benefits for the cryotherapy or the cold plunges, but I do know that for red light therapy, it's incredible for post-workout recovery. So you have, instead of getting in the cold plunge now, athletes are just getting in a red light therapy bed.
I'm just thinking out loud, like you see all these influencers that they're giving these cold plunges to, so then they use them, and then all these people are buying them. Maybe it's a blessing, everybody under the sun of influence. We just got to get them in these damn clams.
Yeah. So anybody who's
that.
listening to this,
Yeah.
I'm looking for an influencer that wants a red light therapy bed that will do it for us. That's what I need.
Yeah, and how do we make that sexy? Your mitochondria. I'm excited about it. I was like, dang, I got to get one of those. You wake up in the morning, you go in that. Can you overdo it or no?
No, you really can't. There's no side effects. I mean, there just isn't. The only problem is if somebody's taken a drug that makes them photosensitive, then they get a sick stomach.
You mentioned, less inflammation, better skin, blood circulation. Do you find that, because you've interacted with high performance people your whole career, those that are pursuing greatness in career, in business and life, they just have an interest in holistically being put together?
Yes.
Because so what are your thoughts on that? Is it like,
I see that. I
think.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when I meet the new breed of entrepreneurs, it seems like not only are they kick-ass entrepreneurs, but they're also almost like they're biohackers. It seems like they want to live forever. They want to do things right. They want to find the right supplements. They want to drink the right juice and all that kind of stuff. It all goes hand in hand, because when you're banging out those hours and you're trying to do the things that other people aren't able to do, you need that energy and you need that extra boost. And so even psychologically, when you're getting in that bed, you're feeling better, because when you get out of that bed, no matter what, your body is oxygenated and you feel like a champ, So, and by the way, the red light therapy is also good for hair growth. It actually rejuvenates hair growth. It actually is good for fat loss. I mean, it's an amazing machine.
Who is it? Like these more high end establishments are seeing that, the type of clientele we want to have be in our vicinity, within our medium, our vicinity.
Yeah.
This is an expectation almost at some point. So you're not seeing this at a day's in.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Like, for instance, we've got beds at the Aria Spa, right? So
it's
those
beautiful
people,
over there.
Beautiful. I mean, it's a Las Vegas spa. Obviously, everybody knows everything here is Highline, and they're charging $120, Jay, for 20 minutes. So it's no joke. I mean, it's no joke. So it's a great moneymaker for them, a good ROI. But people are doing it because of what it does for them. It's the way you feel, and of course, there's some vanity to it as well. I mean, there's people who are getting facelifts and they're getting Botox all the time. And so this is a natural way to actually build collagen and smooth out your skin and do it naturally. And so, some people will pay anything for that, and they can just do it at night.
You find that some people are buying beds and then having their buddies over. Yeah, just give me $60 for a spin. I mean,
there is no question about it.
The Uber of red lights over here.
We've got a woman in our country club. She bought a bed, and she does. I mean, she charges people $30 to get in it for 15 minutes. She says she can do 10 a day if she wanted to.
So people, you feel better. It reminds me of like the chiropractor, even. Like, I've been with people and they go, I mean, I'm not really comparing the literal outcomes or anything, but the idea of, like, you go back there, people I know that are into that, they go there all the time.
Absolutely. It's part of your lifestyle. It's just part of staying healthy, part of rejuvenating your cells. I mean, I just know from unconsciously, I just know that I'm healing. I'm internally healing all the time. That's my belief, that I'm doing things other people aren't doing. I'm getting the extra mile. So, it's just something that I have access to now that I feel very blessed. So when you're taking care of yourself in one area, it bleeds over. Take care of yourself in other areas. I mean, I've always been eating ever since I got sick. I'm eating very well. Now I'm doing the red light, and of course I stopped drinking and all that stuff. And so my lifestyle has just been incredibly healthy, and hopefully it shows. My energy is good considering my situation.
What are you most excited about for 2024?
Dude, just opportunity. I feel like even at my age, I just turned 60 in November, which I guess that's not
Right.
just, that's 6 months ago. So good Lord. And I feel
Wow.
like it sounds crazy, Jay, but at 60, I feel like I'm just taking off my warm-ups. I literally do. I feel like I'm in a new place. I've got a new opportunity. I mean, I can always go back and speak if I want. And now I can speak about more things. I could actually go right into the health and wellness industry and be a specialist in the red light industry, or starting your red light business, or all kind of things.
Yeah.
So
Is
I
there
feel like,
are there conferences for red light?
well, there's health and wellness conferences all over
Okay.
the world, and they always look for speakers, right? So I'm not there yet. I haven't even attempted to get into that place right now. My job right now is networking, connecting,
Hmm.
providing beds to luxury spas and individuals who want to improve their life. So it's been incredible.
If any of the listeners want one of these beds in their homes, how are they reaching out?
Yeah.
What's
Let me give you a couple things. I'm going to give you
uh,
my cell right here for a
let's
text
do it.
message. 702-807-1769. That's 702-807-1769. Also on Instagram, you can just find me at Dan Lier. That's DANLIER. And that's my personal Instagram account, but I post all about the red light business on there. So I'm always
I
talking
want
about
one
it.
of these in my house.
Yeah.
I'm not into
Yeah.
the cold plunge.
Well, here, Joe, check this out, Jay. This is our handheld version. And so I've got this scar. I had some cancer on my cheek. So they cut it out. I've got 15 stitches right here. So in the evenings, I'll take this and I'll just put this red light on here. And so the red light actually helps with wound and scar healing. For months, I would say, the scar will disappear. So it would heal naturally on its own, of course, but this red light actually forces more oxygen and the cell regeneration, and it just smooths the scar out. So it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. So I've noticed incredible changes on my body, at my age, and so it's incredible. I mean, I've always been in great shape, but now I've got like an 8-pack.
Wow.
Because the red light takes like any extra fat off. It's amazing. So um,
In
all good.
closing, what do you want the audience to take from this conversation as it relates to success, to reinvention,
Yeah.
to, burdening the difficulties that come with an ever-changing economy?
Yep. All I could say is that, like we said, the title of the podcast here is that mindset matters. And if there's one thing that you can do in your life is to be able to master your mindset, because that is going to take you as far as you can go. You're only going to go as far as your mindset. So, the whole belief that is, if it is to be, it's up to me. And just going back on your previous experiences where you've overcome obstacles, because that's what it's all about. It's about being able to push through. And in order to do that, you've got to have a belief that drives you. Like my belief is that, I'm always going to be successful if I put in the work. And so no matter what happens, if you just keep moving forward, to me, I'm always going to be successful, and it's always worked. So, and I believe that I'm a winner. So if you put in the effort, you're always going to win. So I just feel like, back in the days when I spent 6 years when I was working with Tony Robbins, there was so many obstacles, but of course in that environment, there were no excuses. So again, another place that I was thriving in, where there was chances to overcome adversity with your mindset. And that's just what I've taken with me my entire life and just built on it. So again, here we are going into we're halfway through 2023. We got crazy stuff going in with the economy, uncertain government. And so I tell people to focus on the things that you can focus on, which is your mindset. That's the only thing that you can control. And then you control the things that you have control over. So, whether it's the economy or, what Joe Biden's doing or the interest rates, unfortunately, we can't do anything about it. So the real question is how can I thrive no matter what? Or how can I thrive with the situation at hand? And when you start asking yourself questions, good questions, you'll get answers, right?
Dan, you're the man.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you.
Thank you, brother. All the best. And Jay, all the success to you, sending you out good vibes out there, and love your show. Keep up the great work. You've come a long way, and I'm really proud of you.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome, man.
We will see you
All right.
all the next time in the Culture Matters podcast.
All right, Jay. See ya.